Now, okay, now I make the screen bigger. Okay, let us begin with metta now. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this metta thought, let us begin our practice. As we repeat every morning, every time we have this session, let us focus our mind on our breathing, noticing inhaling, exhaling as exhaling, without verbalizing or conceptualizing, but simply pay very simple attention, which sometimes is called bare attention. And then we notice the breath rising, falling, the feeling along with the breath rises, falls, perception rising and falling, volition or attention, volition or will to do all this rising and falling, consciousness rising and falling. When we see them rising and falling all the time without any variation, in the rising and falling there is no any variation, short rising or short falling. Rising falling is just one. When we see this, the body slowly becomes calm and relaxed. The breath becomes calm and relaxed. Mind becomes calm and relaxed. When all these are calm, relaxed, we experience a degree of peace. At that time, no greed can arise. Peace doesn't go along with greed. So greed fades away or does not arise when the mind is calm, relaxed and peaceful. Then we begin to feel friendliness and our resentment or anger will fade away because friendliness and resentment cannot exist together. When one arises, the other passes away. So when friendliness arises, resentment disappears. And then mind and body, the breath, become even more calm, more relaxed, more peaceful. Still we see only rising and falling of breath, feeling, perceptions, thought and consciousness. As we see them so naturally happening without any effort, we may fall asleep. Because when everything is calm, relaxed, the mind becomes sluggish if we are not mindful. As soon as sleepiness arises, we immediately become mindful and arouse our spiritual energy, vayamas, right energy, right effort to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness. We even have to think this is a rare opportunity that now we have. We don't want to lose this wonderful golden moment which makes things so different in our life, so wonderful. Don't want to lose this moment. Only those who are vigilant, mindful, make effort can gain very meaningful results. Therefore, we must advise ourselves not to fall asleep. And when sleepiness and drowsiness fade away, and energy is more active, much stronger, at that time it also is possible for us to have restlessness and worry. Restlessness is because that we are thinking of something done incorrectly or incompletely in the past. Or we may be thinking of future plans. When the mind is vacillating between the past and future, mind gets more agitated, excited and restless. But then again we have to be very mindful to keep the mind in the present moment. Present moment is not the fixed moment. It is also fleeting moment, disappearing moment, arising and passing away moment. As we keep mind on the focused on the present moment, we begin to gain better awareness of it, and restlessness and worry fade away. Then we may still have another hindrance called doubt, vichikiccha. Chikitsa is treatment, vichikiccha is that cannot be treated. So when the mind is full of doubt, we cannot make any progress. So we have to overcome our doubt by thinking of the supremely enlightened state of the Buddha, who has discovered this mindfulness meditation system from his own personal experience. Not only him, all the Buddhas like Vipassi, Sikhi, Vesavu, Kakusanda, Konagama, Kassapana, all these Buddhas before him remain mindful, practice vipassana, the path to liberation. And therefore the Buddha introduced this method to us. So we must have full confidence in the Buddha. Dhamma is the very system that we follow, the very practice which we continuously do, then more and more clarity and purity of the mind can be seen. And then the Dhamma, we have confidence in the Dhamma. By the way, even the Buddha took Dhamma as his teacher for him to pay respect, because it was the Dhamma that guided him to attain liberation. And how much more we should pay respect to Dhamma by following Dhamma and having trust and confidence in the Dhamma. The Sangha also followed the same steps that Buddha trod, and we want to follow their steps. We want to follow their footsteps. Therefore, we must have full confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. As we have confidence, our doubt fades away. Now all the 5 hindrances are gone, disappeared, finished, and therefore we have great joy and happiness. When happiness arises, our minds and body become even more relaxed and calm and peaceful. Then we go back to the same beginning to see rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling of everything. Body, of the breath, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. Now with concentrated state of mind, we can see them changing very quickly, all together. And that makes us more insightful to see impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and selflessness. So friends, let us continue this practice for the remaining time this morning before we try to engage answering your question. Okay, thank you.
Everything's good.
Friends, we spend little longer time for meditation. Now, may all beings be happy and secure. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, friends, if you have any question, Prashant will read the question for me and I try to answer it now.
Yeah. Hello, Bhante. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah,
So, Bhante, like you explained yesterday about the designation contact and impingement contact in terms of physical thing, but how about mental object? So,
mental contact actually is the real impingement contact. All the contacts that arise, that comes through our five senses, all converge in the mental contact. And therefore, that is a real impingement contact. That is called patiga sampasa. Patiga means coming two things together and touching and to have a sort of a friction. And that is the contact called patiga. And in the Mahanidana Sutta, it is very clearly explained when all the signs, indication, characters, designation, all of the mental factors are absent, even if the material factors exist, one cannot have contact. On the other hand, if all the material factors are absent, even when the mental factors are present, there cannot be a contact. And therefore, both factors, that means material factors are hardness, warmth or heat, radiation, and air oscillation, and flowing or the binding together. Binding together is the characteristic sign of water element. Oscillation is the characteristic of air element. Radiation is the characteristic of heat element. Hardness is the characteristic of earth element. If these characteristics are not present in the material group, we cannot feel anything. So, even if they are present, if the mental group are not present, you cannot have contact. Therefore, the real contact is in the mind group. Mind group has contact, feeling, perception, thought, and volition and attention. These are the, but all of them must have consciousness. Consciousness is the common factor for arising of mental contact. If anybody is not clear, I invite them to read Mahanidana Sutta. It is translated into English. Mahanidana Sutta is in Diga Nikaya, Sutta number 15, 1-5. You may read that discourse either in English. Of course, if you don't understand Pali, better read in English. Okay, any other question?
Dear Bhante, with mindfulness, we become aware of the contacts which we are not which we are not conscious of happening. Does this mean what those contacts become nutriment after we become conscious?
Now, we have to have, that is also a good question. We have to pay attention. Attention always comes with consciousness. Only when we pay attention can we see this contact. Attention with consciousness. We cannot pay any attention to anything without consciousness. Even all the other factors are present. If there is no attention, we don't have contact. We don't feel contact. And therefore, Buddha said the Manasikara Sambhava Sabbhe Dhamma. Manasikara means attention. If we pay attention, then whatever is there, whatever rises and falls, can be very clearly noticed. And therefore, consciousness with attention is absolutely necessary for us to have this contact. In other words, consciousness plays the most important role in contact, feeling, perception, thought, and so forth.
So, Bhante, does this, like in you explain, like because through our mindfulness we bring attention back to our object with volition. Does this mean mindfulness itself produces karma?
Yes, mindfulness cannot arise without consciousness, and consciousness is called the seed. Mindfulness is karma, wholesome karma, good karma, to produce wholesome, beneficial results. So, mindfulness is a good karma, surely. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
You are welcome.
Bhante, next question is about the practice. What is Buddha's advice for the distracting thoughts?
Distract.
Avoid how to stop wandering mind? The question is while meditating.
Wanting mind is also, we have to see, wanting mind is sort of clinging, grasping, holding. Now, so long as we have this wanting, we must expect suffering, unwholesome results. Now, I must say at the same time, there is a state of wanting to liberate ourselves. That is a wholesome wanting mind. Generally, when we use the word wanting, we underneath that there is desire, clinging, craving, and so forth. But if we have desire or want to get rid of this clinging or craving, that wanting is a wholesome wanting, a wholesome desire. It's called Dhamma Raga. Dhamma, our wanting to remain in the practice of Dhamma. In that we always see something rising and falling and rising, falling and rising and falling, and then trying to want to hold on to it is a futile wish, futile effort, meaningless wish, because we cannot hold on to anything. And therefore wanting is wanting to get rid of that desire. And therefore wanting to overcome desire is a good or wholesome wanting. Yes.
That's all we have for questions. If you want, anybody else want to ask question, it's a short question, we have a few minutes, they can raise their hand.
We cannot see all the people who, even if they raise their hands.
All right, Bhante, there's one comment
Okay.
from question. I am suffering with strong attachment to the body and health. Should I practice meditation on 32 body parts? If so, is there any danger? I have heard stories that one should do this with a teacher. I found a video with Bhante Silananda and was considering following this meditation with him.
Now, 32 parts of the body is a good meditation, but if you do it incorrectly, instead of overcoming your greed, attachment, you may increase your attachment. If you do it incorrectly, that is what happened to Venerable Sariputta's student. Venerable Sariputta gave instruction to his disciple who was full of lust, clinging, craving for the body. And these students, Venerable Sariputta asked him to go and sit under a tree and practice mindfulness of the 32 parts of the body. When he was doing, his lust increased. So he came back to Venerable Sariputta. Second time he said, no, this is a good subject, go back and practice it correctly. Even the second time he could not overcome that. His lust increased. The third time he took him to the Buddha and presented him to the Buddha. As soon as the Buddha saw him and heard from Venerable Sariputta that he cannot practice this mindfulness of impurities of the body, then Buddha, instead of giving him 32 parts or something unattractive, Buddha gave him an attractive subject. That was a lotus flower. Lotus flower. And Buddha had a lot of lotus around him because people every day went to see the Buddha with flowers. And Buddha took one of those flowers and gave to this monk, asking him to go and sit near a pond where there are more lotus flowers. And then ask him to put it in a stick in the ground and look at it, pay attention to it, and simply keep paying attention to this beautiful lotus flower. As he was watching, children came, they also picked some lotus flowers from the pond and put in the ground. As he was watching these lotus flowers in this very hot, scorching sun, right in front of his eyes, these lotus flowers slowly faded away, and one by one petals fell on the ground. Then immediately he said, oh yes, this beautiful lotus flower is impermanent. My body is like this. That is what we do when we offer flowers to the Buddha. Puppam milayati athai dhamme kayo tathayati vinasa bhava. Just like these flowers fade away, this body fades away. Just like these flowers are impermanent, the body is impermanent. So, in the 32 parts of the body, if we practice it correctly, all we see is not ugliness, dirtiness, or arouse our anger, or very rejecting, resentful feeling towards the body. But we see each and every part of the body, from the tiniest to the largest, is impermanent. And then we gain a very deep insight into the reality that is impermanent. So that is how we have to practice the 32 parts of the body. It is very easy for people to memorize, easy for people to think this is ugly, this is dirty, this is so forth. That is not the purpose. The purpose is to see that each and every part is impermanent. You can see in Indriya Bhavana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, last discourse, Indriya Bhavana, there Buddha said, if we want to have equanimous feeling in the beautiful, we can see equanimity. When we see impermanence, what we have? Equanimous feeling towards the body. Okay, that is the purpose, and that meditation is good one if you do it correctly. Okay, friends, today I want to end this session. Let me wish once again, may all those who are in hospitals taken care of by very compassionate doctors and nurses, suffering from various type of ailment, sickness, may they recover very soon and return to normal health. And those doctors and nurses who are very compassionately taking care of these people, these patients, risking their own lives, may continue their compassionate service without being themselves affected by any of these virus, any of these sicknesses. And there are many people who have lost their loved ones and they were grieving. May they be free from grief and continue their Dhamma practice so that they can understand the reality of our life and live long in very good health and peace. And those who are generously supporting various projects to help people in many different ways, may they continue their very generous, compassionate service. And the leaders who have been taking care of their people, giving them instruction, encouragement to have vaccines, maintain all the preventive measures, may they continue their service and let them live long in very good health to continue their wonderful service. Overall, I like to wish all of you every one of you be happy, peaceful and happy. Live long in very good health. Long life is good only that is healthy. Otherwise, long life is miserable. If the life is full of sickness, then long life is not to be expected. So, with this, I want to end this morning session. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante ji.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bhante.
Sadhu,
Thank you, Bhante.
sadhu,
Thank
sadhu.
you, Bhante.
Bhante.
Sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu,
Bhante.
Bhante,
Thank you,
sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu,
sadhu,
sadhu.